Whoa, no, what's with Florence? What's with Florence? You are now tuned into the Going Off podcast.
You sent me a thing about the albums that were released on 9/11.
Yes, and it was one of the, I know we've talked about it before. We didn't mean to be making light of it, but just like, stick with us, folks. We talked about Jay-Z before.
There was like one of those trends on Twitter. It was like, hey, post 4 albums that came out the year you turned whatever. And it was 2001. And just as like a inside joke to those who would notice it, I put all albums that came out on 9/11. So I was familiar enough and knew that Nickelback's Breakout,
that was another
fucking
one.
Silver Side Up, and Ben Folds' Rockin' the Suburbs. But we also looked up The Coup.
Yeah, The Coup, with the very unfortunate album cover of like...
Yeah, that's the one. It's like, how the fuck do you know?
And now this is another one that kind of had me, like, that really took me aback a bit, right? The Slayer album.
God Hates Us All, yeah.
God Hates Us All. And the thing that's even more trippy about it is that, like, oh yeah, but when the album came out, they had to have, promotional material for the day the album came out. So for the album, yeah, it's just, clothing that had in big letters, God Hates Us All, 9/11, 2001. Like, oh.
This is the funny thing. The Coup and Dream Theater's Live Scenes from New York, both albums came out September 11th, 2001, and both album covers have a picture of the World Trade Center on fire.
Oh my god.
Like, how do you fucking know?
What are the odds?
Like, Dream Theater isn't even about that. They're fucking prog metal,
Right.
The Coup were making much more of a direct political statement, more so than Dream Theater was trying to.
Right.
I like that this also includes Mariah Carey's Glitter. Like that album was gonna do numbers even if it didn't drop on 9/11. Like, that was snakebit from the beginning.
The pièce de résistance of this whole list was the final video. And folks, you've got to watch this one. Pause this podcast and go look up the music video for Bad Ronald's Let's Begin. If you could get past the first minute of the barely even trying Mr. Rogers parody that they did. Like, oh, it's like Mr. Rogers, but the old guy is like fat and slovenly looking. What?
Finally, we have novelty rappers Bad Ronald.
Oh my god.
A huge misnomer of the past, of the post-Eminem, pre-Macklemore world.
That's what it is, isn't it?
God, what the fuck?
Oh.
That's a really weird way of saying it.
But it is kind of funny though, right? Because when they said that, I was thinking that, right? Because it was like, Eminem came up, late 90s, early 2000s, and he's, the angry white boy, but he may be angry, but his music videos are colorful and kind of silly, right? So like, how many of those, record industry people trying to sign white rappers, trying to make it pop, were kind of stroking their chins and going, okay, so let's do a big, silly, goofy video, and have the white rappers in it, and that's how we'll bypass trying to like get clout in the hip hop industry, right? Because they're already just goofy guys. But this video is so bad. Like, it's like if you watch an Eminem video, oh yeah, it's kind of silly, but like it's a respectable early 2000s music video, kind of silly. You know what I mean? Like, it still looks like a music video that you would want to watch. This video so looks like the VH1's worst videos. Like.
I think it's very funny how this article ends. The group were also among the first to be filmed in post-9/11 PSAs for MTV, but never achieved much memorable as a unit outside of an infamously seething Rolling Stones review declaring, finally, the Bloodhound Gang have someone to look down on.
And now, folks...
God,
this is where I hope you've paused the video to watch the music video, because they ain't lying.
And like, I enjoy some Bloodhound Gang, to be completely honest.
Bloodhound Gang, first of all. Like,
this is not even in the same realm.
Don't besmirch
folks.
Bloodhound Gang.
You don't need to drag them into this. What did they do? We've got 2 listener-requested album reviews that we've got to get to this week. Sometimes you hit on a weird motif with the albums.
Yeah, we're not doing this on purpose.
No, this absolutely is first come, first serve, whether you decide to believe that or not. But we've got 2 non-rap albums, 2 like singer-songwriter E. I don't even know exactly what other 2 describers to add on to this, but where do we start? Which one do you want to do first?
I was thinking the normal album.
This might be one of my favorite albums ever?
No, you ain't never lied. Oh my god.
This is honestly dead ass not lying. 5s all the way down.
No
This
kidding.
album does not let up once. I've said on the show before, I hate it when you're listening to an album and it's got this great intensity, and then like somewhere along the line it's like, oh well, we need to rein this in, we need to tone this down. This album says fuck that. This, oh my god, dude.
Whoa.
Will Wood, there's a song in this album that I'd heard on TikTok
Is that
a while ago.
Oh yeah, because this album came out last year, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, this is still relatively new. It's from 2020. I heard a sample from I Me Myself on Twitter.
Ooh,
and I was like, ooh, what the fuck is this? And I looked it up on Spotify, and I was already familiar with this album before
what a song.
before we did it for the show, so I was already familiar with it. So when I saw it pop up in the request, I was like, oh, fuck yeah, alright, cool. Finally getting a chance to talk about this shit. If you are in the group of people who have never heard this album, which I'm gonna say is probably an unfortunately large group of people, because not even Melon reviewed this one.
Oh, is that so?
Not even Melon!
What?
We're touching a fucking, no needle drop review on this one. Not even a why no review. You said the normal album. It's the normal album by Will Wood.
Yeah.
And we didn't say offhand, and I need to reopen it, who requested this. It was requested by Atlas Earth, so thank you very much for requesting the normal album by Will Wood. Boy.
Track 1.
Okay. I was just gonna say, where do you start? I guess that's as good a place as any.
Oh my god. So yeah, going into this album, you see Suburbia Overture, greetings from Marybelle Township, ! / in parentheses, vampire culture / love me normally.
So we got Love Me Normally, and then we've got Love Me Normally later. And I love that little kind of, especially because Love Me Normally is kind of just like a tacked on, very low-key, super sweet outro to this otherwise fucking whirlwind
powerhouse
of a song.
Jesus Christ. You thought you like American Idiots fucking, smashing 3 songs together and just taking you off on a whirlwind adventure through what the songs are? Oh boy, sit down.
Like, it doesn't really play in the space of being a throwback, but
it's weird,
uses the 1950s doo-wop aesthetic to kind of make you think of, like, Happy Days, that kind of post-war suburbia.
Right.
But it talks about anxiety, depression, self-image, gender norms, all these things that are very modern. That they're being dealt with today.
We're in the 50s, we're in that happy sort of aesthetic, but then like the first things you're hearing are, well, it's funny, the first things you hear are like these, I think he's like, they're all greetings, right? Where he's just saying like, hello, Merry Christmas, Happy Halloween, just all of these just putting you in that like, this is a comfortable world that we're in right now, isn't it? So, everyone's wearing sweaters, because everything is so good and nice in this world. You know what I'm saying? But, like, you don't even get, like, a minute past the lyrics where he's saying all of that stuff, where it automatically just, like, starts falling into, like, the topics that we're going to be getting into, like, anxiety and all these things. And it just, like, falls into it so quickly that your mouth just, like, drops over. You're just like, oh, we're getting all of this? White picket fences, barbed wire in trenches, trick or treat, Merry Christmas, howdy neighbor, thank you Jesus. Oh, what is he building in that painted lady? But yeah, it's just like, but just immediately, yeah, you hear like wide-eyed and wired, the snap crackle pop of the Geiger camouflage billboards for the lead-lined Brooks Brothers. Whoa, hold up. You elbow the jukes boxes and sing duck and cover. Like, whoa, like, yeah, that's what it is. So it's like, it still places you in the 50s with saying certain things that are like,
oh yeah,
but it's like the sort of like, yeah, you know how we idealize the 50s and make it seem like it's all cute? No, the fuck it wasn't. No, the fuck it wasn't. Like, just that first thing he references, you elbow the jukebox and sing duck and cover. Like, the duck and cover theme is like a song that's just gonna be on the juke. Like, that's such a immediately dark, twisting thing, right? Like, taking this thing that you know was a 50s, iconic thing, but, in the 50s they wouldn't acknowledge that because everything's happy in the 50s. It's not actually anything wrong. It's just, it's the same way we treat the 80s now, right? Where it's just like, the 80s was this great fun time that we could all go to. Let's not think about all the homophobia and you know, you know what I'm saying?
I think like anyone that's played Fallout 4 kind of picks up on this.
Oh, of course.
The tongue-in-cheek kind of playing around with the images of, like, is it this line where later there's a line that's just, he comes radiation? Like,
yeah.
All right.
Like, they're rubbing your nose and what he's trying to do. Oh, yeah, there's the part where he says, like, Myers-Briggs, okay, Ultra takes a village to fake a whole culture. And I was like, whoa, just that lyric all the way, like, god damn, that's not like, that's not even commentary. You just like flip the whole goddamn rug of, of all this pretentiousness of society itself, like.
We could be here for hours if we quoted every amazing part of these songs, because.
Oh my lord.
Something I've criticized in other albums, but I think it actually works here, is these songs are very dense.
Yes.
Lyrically. But it works for me because the attitude on this album is so manic.
Yeah.
That it just kind of fits into what he's going for here.
You're being pulled along for the ride all the time, right? Like, you're like, whoa, where are we going now?
Yeah, and like, I could definitely see how this album could potentially be a little too much.
Or maybe intimidating.
Intimidating even in both content in the lyrics about like what's being talked about, because it's it really is cheat code for me. The super cynical, satirical lyrics over very upbeat,
saccharine,
positive, yeah. Mm-hmm.
The Hey Ya formula.
I live for the juxtaposition, but I can see how it could be a bit much for people, especially songs like Second, was it Second Tonight
to ear?
Yeah, I'm not sure how you're supposed to say that. But it's the second track. How it almost leans on ska, but then it goes past ska and just becomes almost like circus music.
It's insane. We didn't even really.
It's so loud. It's just so in your fucking. Have you seen the music video for this?
I didn't know there were music videos for this.
It's just like them playing the song, but they put so much fucking visual effects over it. It's such like, it has in the title a light sensitivity warning of just how like just flashing and just erratic.
It starts with the doo-wop fun stuff, but by the end, it just like goes into this manic thing. And I remember on the last album we talked about like, the guy has the guy that we had reviewed, the Crunkwitch or whatever the heck it was. Dude had a very like he was using his voice in very different ways, but because the musicality wasn't under him in a way that like really aided it, it just sounded so awkward. And here he is playing with his voice and doing all these different things. And it's a thing where you're like, whoa, that's the same guy. Like at the beginning it's very clean and like da 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 da, and by the end he's like, it's only cold. He sounds like fucking Dr. Electric Teeth and the fucking Dr. Teeth and the Electric Band by the end. It's only culture. It's only culture, smoke and shoot. Holy shit. I just wanted that last part by itself.
That's where the whole being a fucking whirlwind comes in, of just how breakneck it goes from the first section to the second section, because he's kind of doing the sweet doo-woppy singing in the first track, but it only gets kind of aggressive and a little shouty. And I like how it also adds in, like, surprise guitar solos and incredible drumming in this, like, throwback music, but it matches the edge of what he's doing vocally. Vampire Culture, though, it's such a break from that, because the aggression is just turned up to fucking 11, and he's barely even singing. He's basically just growling these lyrics at you. This album takes so many different emotional turns that sometimes the songs can sound a little samey, but vocally, he's bringing you in so many different places emotionally.
Yes, and there's so much being said that, I didn't even get that feeling. I get what you're saying, though, but it's like, because what I did think at first, like, when he was doing, like, the 50s and, like, the genre changed within the song, I thought that was going to be, like, the rest of the album, we're going all throughout the decades. But, as it goes on, it's like, no, we're still just stuck in the 50s, but, like, we're going through all the different, feels of that still. You know what I mean? Oh,
yeah, and by samey, I don't mean that as a diss or a cut down to this album at all. Just, like, sometimes the very similar motifs will come up, like the doo-wop elements.
Right.
Some stuff like that, but... like the beat on oh yeah, but like the beat on Well Better Than the Alternative is fucking awesome. The instrumental the Outliers and Hypocrites, a fun fact about Apple's instrumentation. Like, it goes so fucking hard that, like, you look at this and it's just one guy's name, but it's this just feels like there's so many fucking... like, there's gotta be. I know because I saw the video. Like, there are a bunch of people here. But it's like... it's just, like, him at the helm. Like, almost, like, conducting just this, like,
he's the Randy
madcap.
Yeah.
And see, I actually have your boy written down here for the most important thing in the world is the Randy Newman-esque ending.
Da 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 da. One day you're gonna die. Try not to think about it. One day you're gonna die, and there's probably nothing after. One day. It's like, oh goddamn.
You really do need to be in a specific headspace for this, or this could probably send you into a fucking tailspin.
Yeah.
But if you are mentally prepared for this type of experience, holy shit. Better Than the Alternative. Once I find out what's wrong with me, then you can tell me how I'm right for you. God, the lyrics on this, I know, like, we'd be quoting them forever, but there are so many highlights that it's just... it's impossible.
I was just saying that everybody, the pre-chorus, everybody knows that, nobody knows that, everybody's all up in my goddamn business.
Oh, their motherfucking business! Oh my god, dude.
Man.
The fucking spoken word wall of text on Black Box Warrior.
Oh.
Come on!
This fucking album.
You think ideas spread because they're good? No, they spread because people like them. So we're here once again, holding, as it were, a mirror up to your mirror. I guess it's just something people do.
You guys have got to hear that part when it happens too.
The little tongue-in-cheek wink and a nod. God, you motherfucker, Will Wood. Oh, I love this album so much.
You guys don't even understand.
It doesn't let up. There's incredible instrumentation on every track, from piano to drumming to guitar solos to the almost ska to the jazz.
And like I said, there is, like, every second there is something to think about with what he is saying. You know,
it's possibly the most unhinged album I think I've ever heard, that also manages to be very catchy and very fun.
But
all at the same time. Yeah, like, there are some albums that go completely off the rails and it just sounds like a train wreck, and, you know, it really is like an acquired taste almost, like, it's very avant-garde. This, though, it's very structured, it's super fucking catchy. Every track, even if he is just, like, flying off the handle, ranting and raving about either himself or society or these expectations around him. It's still fun. There's still you can still tap your toe to these. You know, you can still manage to turn your brain off and not listen too close to the lyrics to get depressed by it.
Oh man. But yeah, just to say, Love Me Normally, yo, that's totally should have been the fucking single with this fucking Freddie Mercurian level of singing he's doing.
I mean, they fucking got that on the album cover. It's like featuring Love Me Normally.
Right.
Like, yeah, it absolutely, like, they fucking knew. Absolutely.
Oh, man.
And people need to be talking about this one, man.
Yeah.
I really hope that because of this, at least people listening will have been turned on to this because, man, like, I'm not even exaggerating. I can't think of the last album we've reviewed on the show that has been an absolute no-brainer for me. Like, even albums I've given 5s have, like, a couple duds, a couple skips. No fucking way. You can't.
Yeah.
There's only 10 tracks! Yeah, you can't skip any of these.
Yeah.
We're gonna slip on over to no stranger to Going Off.
Oh no.
It's Florence and the Machine with their debut album, Lungs, requested by IBXCV. Also no stranger to the show. I've seen that name pop up a few times in the requests.
Mm-hmm.
We've done, I think, 2 other ones. At this point, there's only one Florence and the Machine album that we haven't reviewed, and I think it's the most recent one from 2018, but this is the first one.
Yeah, now I want to go and... Yeah.
You're gonna have to now. So this is, especially leading with Dog Days Are Over, this was everybody's introduction to Florence and the Machine. I still remember watching the MTV Video Music Awards and seeing the over-the-top, super colorful, energetic performance of Dog Days Are Over, and just being like, well, the future's here. And I think we talked about this because of the quote you brought up from the Todd review, of like, you looked at that and you thought, wow, this is going to change everything. And then just like, nobody paid attention to it really. So like, if you knew it was there, you appreciated it, but it didn't really capture the, pop culture as a whole as much as we thought it would.
Well, I don't know. I do hear lots of pop singers trying desperately to do the big cavernous sound, but they don't realize that when they do it, it sounds fucking soulless, and when she does it, it sounds soulful. But,
Yeah. Mm-hmm. There's very few people who we've seen on the show do it, and it comes from a very authentic, genuine place.
Now, I will say, going into this, with the understanding that like, oh yeah, we listened to the second album for this podcast, boom, we loved it. Third album for this podcast, oh my God, how big, how blue, how beautiful. Even when you say it, you feel like you need to give a certain respect and reverence. How big, how blue, how beautiful.
Yep.
That album, even in title alone, commands respect. This album? It's not that this one was like bad. Definitely it wasn't whack. But I did get that feeling of like, oh, this didn't necessarily knock it out of the park like I was expecting to. Now, yeah, when you brought up the fact that it's their first album, that kind of put it in more in perspective for me, because I wasn't actually thinking about that. But when so at the time I was just thinking, oh, maybe this is one like third or fourth album, and maybe they're doing a little fun experimenting and it's not really like doing it. Oh, but when you say like, oh, this is where they started, okay, now this makes sense in context. Because yeah, there are a couple of songs here where it's like they don't sound fully comfortable in what their sound is, so they're like, oh, maybe we need to do a little punk stuff, and it's just like, no, I see you're not bad at it, but oh, that's not you though, My
takeaway here is it fucking gets shot out of a fucking cannon with Dog Days Are Over and Rabbit Heart, Raise It Up. I think those are
of course
phenomenal tracks, followed even by I'm Not Calling You a Liar and Howl. The fucking 3-track combo of Kiss with the Fist, Girl with One Eye, and Drumming Song, though. They really did just put the weakest fucking cuts in the middle.
Yeah.
Because after that, in my opinion, it revs right back up. The second half of the album, I think is super fucking strong. But man, those 3 in a row, I'm like, uh-oh. Yeah. You're really starting to lose me. This is where they tried to do the experiment and stuff, because Kiss with a Fist is the, like, jukebox rocker, kind of sounds like Jet.
Oh yeah, she's being a little in your face without just writing the lyrics, like, you threw the dish at me and I threw the sink at you, and it's just like going over the top on purpose. But it's like, but you're Florence in the Machine, so I'm like really listening intently to what you're talking about, and it's like, wait, what is this happening? What's going on right now? Like, it just hits weird.
And then my big takeaway with Girl with One Eye, Florence Welch is doing this like pouty singing style.
Yeah.
That I just did not like. I was not here for it.
I'm not calling you a liar. I didn't connect with it as much because, like with that one, the lyrics felt oddly simple. Like,
yeah,
you know, especially with the intro. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, with just like the simple juxtaposition, like, oh yeah, of course this is how, you know, this songwriting 101, right? Like, why does someone who makes me so angry make me feel so happy? You know, like that sort of, you know, very simple like writing thing where we're just kind of like, okay.
I did get a Marina and the Diamonds.
Oh, yeah.
I misspoke, but the still trying to get your footing. I'm trying to do all these different things. This is my, this is the introduction. So I gotta show people who I am. I gotta show everybody that, in a landscape of like Katy Perry and Taylor Swift.
That's it.
I'm doing something different.
Right, because she I think these artists, like, also have the, like, okay, I'm making pop music that's going to be in the same realm of them, but I can't just be them.
I do gotta say, though, when you said earlier about the whole punk thing, the one track that does kind of lean, at least a little bit, it might, like, dip a toe in the kind of punk field, My Boy Builds Coffins.
That song was epic! I
love that one.
That was the best song I got. That was like the holy shit. You're paying attention to every fucking lyric because you're trying to hear, where is this going? Oh my god, that hook.
That made itself stand out. That much more. Like, there's nothing like that track on the album.
Yeah.
And I wish there was more like that.
You're right. You know? You're so right. Yeah. Oh my god, but this hook. My boy builds coffins. He makes them all day, but it's not just for work and it isn't for play. He's made one for himself, one for me too. And he's like, she's singing this as the mom. And it's like, and one of these days, he'll make one for you. But it's that way that it's like, it's haunting, but it's not necessarily like horrific. Because, like, there's a weird thing where you're thinking about it, because, like, there's an artfulness to making this that he cares about. And it's like, you're thinking about that at the same time. So you're not just being freaked out. You're also just, like, you're oddly drawn in, right? Like, wait, what? Like, it really does feel like, if Tim Burton didn't fuck around and actually made his movies, like, actually say some shit beyond just the, horrific imagery, like, this would be the soundtrack of it, It would just be like, whoa, holy shit, I'm walking through this place and, like, what is it? And maybe I'm going to find, this isn't just a haunting setting. Maybe I'll find a book that's actually going to be, like, talking about the psychological horrors that women had to deal with in the 1800s. It's not just a horror setting, like, oh, we're taking you into the horror of this life, Yeah, and so, like, listen to this song, but this one was a lighter version of that, and in fact, I was, listening to, Dog Days Are Over, and trying to figure out, like, what's the song about, and noticing, like, a lot of the album has, like, a weirdly, positive vibe to it, but it's positive, not in the way that feels poppy, right? It's not positive, it's not Jason Mraz, like, we're having a good time. No, it's content.
The first two tracks back to back, Dog Days Are Over, is the big standout. It got probably more radio play than probably anything that they've put out since then.
And it wasn't even the best track on the album.
No, like, it's still real good, and it's still definitely, even a decade later, holds up very well. But followed up immediately with Rabbit Heart, and I quoted this directly from Genius, but I'd written all these dark songs, and the label suggested we should have something that was a bit more upbeat. In the process of doing that, I realized maybe I was sacrificing something. So I had a really upbeat piano and drums, but the lyrics that came out were, "This is the gift, it comes with a price, so who is the lamb and who is the knife?" The rabbit heart is a reference to fear. I'm so afraid of what's about to happen, of being in the spotlight. And then you've got the quotes, you made a deal and now it seems like you have to offer up, but will it ever be enough? It's not enough. Here I am, a rabbit-hearted girl frozen in the headlights. It seems I've made the final sacrifice. I'm not a musical artist, per se, right? I've never been in Florence's shoes. It seems a little pretentious to be like, oh no, I've written this pop song. I've sold out. I've sold out. Like, are you fucking kidding me?
Look, but you got to put it in perspective, right? Like, this is someone who's been, a musician their whole life, right? And they're doing it right. And now I'm signed with this label, and now they want me to do what I don't want to do. What is this? Is this all for naught? Am I just another cog in the machine?
I'm not gonna write you that song because you asked for it. Is that what we're getting?
So there's got to be something in the moment that just makes you feel that way that these people are responding to, right? Because by nature of I know the people who know me know that I'm doing something fun, doing an interesting, different sound, but, when I get to this major label, doing a pop song, what really is the difference of me writing, a song with lyrics as opposed to, Katy Perry's song? What is the difference between me and them? If I'm just on the label just like them and they want me to just do happy pop song, I can understand that being, a weird anxiety that can build on you, right? At least have that thought, right? Of being oh my God, am I selling? Because if you don't have that thought, then you probably are selling out, right? You're just hey, yeah, it's time to make these nuggets. I'm about to blow up and act like I don't know
anybody. Is Florence Welch on Cameo? Can I pay her to recreate the fucking Riff Raff Vine, please?
That would be hilarious.
Howl had a very grabbing intensity.
Yeah.
Before the first verse even starts, and these fucking lyrics, be careful of the curse that falls on young lovers, starts so soft and sweet, then turns them to hunters. A man who's pure at heart and says his prayers by night may still become a wolf when the autumn moon is bright. Fucking,
and just taking an extra second to look what the song is about, right? And they're saying well, no, the song is just about how love can turn you into this ravenous beast, just hunting for, the next conqueror or whatever, instead of actually, caring to find someone that you love or whatever. But the drug of love makes you want more. It's ooh, now that's how you write a fucking song.
When I got to Hurricane Drunk, I fucking wrote down, man, they really hid some gems in the back end.
The first thing I wrote down was, wow, this feels like this should have been a single.
Yeah, I love an album that is so humble, that it's just gonna put some real good shit, right at the end. I don't fucking care. If you want to hear it badly enough, you're going to. The first half is good enough that you're gonna make it here, and they really do test you. With those 3 songs.
You're being rewarded.
You are rewarded if you stick it through. Absolutely.
I was listening to that song, and again, these random parallels that'll come up. I think on the other album, there was a song where someone had mentioned, I think later on, Will Woods had mentioned, drinking himself to death. And then on this song, Hurricane Drunk, he's I think I might just drink myself to death. I was why is this? These weird motifs that keep coming up.
We don't plan this, I swear.
Don't drink yourself to death, kids. Don't get hurricane drunk either.
No.
Getting drunk during a hurricane. What's the worst that could happen?
Oh, God. And we just fucking had a tornado warning yesterday.
Oh, you fucking throw up and your vomit starts mixing with the hurricane.
What the fuck?
I'm getting hurricane drunk.
Sure.
Yeah, it's in the movie Twister, except, you're oh,
that's
God,
a tornado.
We've got to, he's oh no, we've got to save ourselves with this belt up, hooking it up to a pipe, which is somehow not going to get ripped out of the ground.
Oh, yeah.
Hang on for dear life. And then they're hanging on, and it's oh shit, I forgot to throw. And it throws up, and that mixes with the hurricane and causes.
If only they would have thought to throw up in the funnel of the tornado, it would have. I don't know where we're going. Beautifully layered vocals on Blinding.
Oh, yes.
Man, I I don't really have too much to say about this album either.
Yeah, I
Come
wrote down.
to find out.
Yeah, I wrote down for this one. This is one of the ones I was like, yeah, the song about the self-discovery of what leads to your happiness and letting go of the attachment to certain people that aren't for you, right? Like that was like the real contemplation of that. Like, why am I happy? Oh, because I'm not dealing with this anymore. I'm letting this go. But, saying it in this very poetical way, right? She's like, no more dreaming of the dead as if death itself was undone. No more calling like a crow for a boy, for a body in the garden. No more dreaming like a girl so in love. No more dreaming like a girl so in love with the wrong world. It's just so like, ooh. Okay, positive pop, you know what I'm saying? You're dusting yourself off from your, the things that kept you down in the past and moving on. Okay, I see you,
It definitely deals with simpler topics, I think, or at least less complex topics than we're used to, but still in a very interesting, deep sort of way that even if it is, hashtag relatable type stuff, it's still presented in a really interesting way that still puts it ahead of, contemporaries and stuff from the time.
Yeah.
And
in fact, now that I'm looking down, You've Got the Love. Oh my God, when I heard that song, this was the one where I was like, even more so than the other songs, I was like, this should have been the lead goddamn single. It's all about how, like, life is awesome now that I've got you in it. But it's not cheesy, right? It's not like the, oh, I need to make the pop song that's all about how life is good now that I'm with you, non-specific person, no, it sounds like, because you have made my life better and you've helped me with this, it's like, I'm realizing that you are so awesome for me. It's like, yes, this is what these songs, it's making you fucking feel the emotion, the reality of that emotion. You know what I'm saying? It's not just going through the motions,
it was between a 4 and a 4.5.
I gave it a 4 because
I would be more inclined to say a 4 also.
There are definitely like great songs on this, like compared to like whatever the fuck Katy Perry was putting out right that year. Like going to this like even on the weaker tracks, but it is. Now that we've heard the other albums, I can't help but feel like this is a bit of a step down,
Oh, yeah. They definitely did pick up speed as they went.
Yeah, which is good. It's good that the opposite happened, right? Like,
yeah.
That's what you want to see.
This is the humble beginnings,
right? Yeah. And then there was that remix for You've Got the Love called You've Got That Dirty Love with, who is it? Dizzy Rascal. The hook doesn't really have anything to do with what the verses are about, because the Dirty Love song is about, like, Dirty Cat song is about, like, life is a movie, but, so many people just want to use the money to make the life look cool without really thinking about how, it's affecting their lives. So it's like that type of song, but, like, that's not really what You've Got the Love was about. It's just about how, like, I'm so happy that I'm with you. Life is great now.
Yeah.
So, like, the clash is kind of awkward, but, like, if you just take it in that sort of, like, Gorillaz way, of just like, oh hey, here are two talented people, and let's just put these songs together. Why not? Sure, it definitely sounds good. It doesn't directly, subject matter wise make as much sense, but it's cool that this happened. I'm giving them credit by comparing it to Gorillaz, but it is actually more of like a Linkin Park Jay-Z situation.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
Now that feels more disrespectful because those songs definitely had nothing to do with each other. Like this song, when you hear these two together, you could at least, like, if you're not paying attention, be like, oh sure, it works together fine,
But with all that said, that about does it for this week's episode of Going Off. So I gotta give a big thanks to everyone who spent their time listening to our show this week. It means so much to us that you would actually want to take time out of your day.
Hear our bullshit opinions.
Hear our bullshit opinion. Maybe like have us on in the background or something. That's always cool to think about.
Yeah, put that sandwich down. You shouldn't be eating gluten. No.
What the fuck?
I just wanted to, whoever would be listening, you just said like, wherever we're being listened to, and just like the one person there who's like, being a little naughty and, I'm not supposed to have this sandwich on gluten bread, but
it's a cheat day.
Yeah, exactly. I might get the farts.
Then RC's just going to chastise you.
Oh, you got my number.
We've crossed over into a weird plane of existence where we can now see your every move also.
Don't you know?
Sorry.
Did you hear last time? Our podcast is in 4D. Ooh.
Oh, fuck. We're recording this with 8K microphones.
Right. I mean, we don't normally use it, but those other dimensions. But, that's what makes it special when we do use it, because it's just like, what? Oh, I can smell the podcast? What's going on?
If anything else, it just takes longer to render. You might not really tell in the final product, it might not sound any better, but boy oh boy, that file size, whew, gigs, that MP3.
The computer can definitely tell, that's for sure. The hard drive space can tell, that's for sure.
The review queue, the request queue, rather. Oh boy, it is shrinking.
Oh yeah.
And I gotta say, man, we will let y'all know when it gets to that magic number where we can open the floodgates again. We're still playing a little close to the vest because we don't want to give too much away. But plan is that when we get to a specific number of requests, we're going to open it up for a very limited time to try to just get a few to bump it up to what we consider to be our comfortable maximum.
A new sanity number.
Yeah, because there was a time when we were looking at like 60, and
because
no.
We weren't expecting the response we get, which, thank you so much. Just want to say that, right? Like, thank you guys so much for the love. But
that people would be that curious
right.
of what we got to say about their favorite or least favorite albums that they would actually pay money to hear our opinion. It means a lot. Thank you. Don't get us wrong. But I think when we did up the price, we were looking at like 60 reviews.
Yeah, because
we're like,
yeah,
that's too much. I was getting anxious.
And, this was during I'll say particularly a part of my past when I was probably not as good at just keeping general track of things in my life that were happening. So we're just like, oh yeah, this is good, and I'll get to him soon. But right now I'm doing this, and then a day turns into a week, and then a week turns into another. I was like, oh wait, how many do we have in? Oh shit, let me go through this. Wait, how many do we have to? And
like for me, we would film episodes of Riff Break and Riff Comms, and I would have months worth of stuff filmed, and I would get anxiety of like, oh no. What if, like, something happens and I don't get to this footage or whatever, and then my fucking hard drive crashes on me, and the dreams are realized, the nightmare scenario is coming true. And it's like, well, I guess I mentally prepared for this, so it's not the end of the world. You could follow us on our Instagrams, our Twitters. We got Patreon and Ko-fi's on our own, besides the joint Ko-fi, which is where you can request the albums. That is ko-fi.com/goinoff. That's GOINOFF. It's currently 120 for an album review, 140 for an album that you made yourself, and you want to hear our thoughts on. Until further notice, which will be sooner than later. And we'll let y'all know when that price gets a little bit more manageable, perhaps.
Yeah, and on my end, I'm doing the streams, twitch.tv/rapcritical. You can join me on those. We're always having a good time with those. My Rap Critic Patreon, of course, just to remind y'all, my Review a New podcast is now on the Rap Critic Patreon. So in addition to 2 Rap Critic episodes every month, you're getting also 2 extra podcasts from me. So would act like you want it if you want to support your boy, and as well you get to join the Discord and get to talk with other fans. I remember I actually heard someone saying something where they were like, "Hey man, I'm out in whatever the boonies and I like talking about music, but like I feel like there's no one really around me to really do that." And And I was like, "Oh yeah, like no, in my Discord people just be chatting."
There you go.
Like, yeah, and
hell yeah.
Yeah, far away from me too. Like I'll just check it every now and then. We're like, "Oh y'all guys y'all just talking like it's nothing." Okay, like y'all just have a little community going. Like yeah, and they be plotting and scheming too. Because like I said, they'll have like movie nights, but then they'll also do requests and stuff that'll surprise the shit out of me. I'll be like, "What?
That's sick."
So yeah, they are independent of me.
Well, until next time, for Going Off, I'm Muse.
And I'm Rap Critic, and here comes the click, click, boom, 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 boom. Every time you drop the boom. I was listening to, what was it? POD. Yeah, and their songs.
Oh.
And they're that band where it's like, oh, I thought I only knew that song, but wait, they also did that new metal song and that new metal song?
Yeah.
Like, holy shit, am I a fan of POD? Because, like, I was talking to my sister about new metal. I was like, yeah, you remember, like, new metal, right? Like, we mainly listened to, like, hip-hop, R&B, sort of. But, you know, when shit was so big, like, oh, yeah, you knew that rock song, what it was about. And so I kind of did a test with my sister. I was like, do you remember this System of a Down song? And she's like, no, I don't recall that one. You know, like, the toxicity of our city. Yeah. She's like, no, I don't remember that one. Oh, do you remember this one? No, I don't remember that one. And then I was like, okay, do you remember, we are, youth of the nation? It's like, oh, yeah, of course, and POD. And it's like, okay. And just like, but I don't really know POD. I don't really know. It's like, okay, do you remember, I feel so alive? She's like, oh, yeah, I do remember that. Yeah, it was like, she was having the exact same, like, reaction that I was having. I was like, uh-oh, wait. I thought these were just like, you know, one of whatever, like, new metal bands out there. Well, yeah, one from that's like, wait, that was all the same guy?
You know, it's funny. I recently, and I guess I'm just leaving this in because why the fuck
yeah,
not?
I'm still recording it.
I randomly put on, y'all are gonna laugh at me. I know you will. Chocolate Starfish and the hot dog flavored water.
Look at you.
A couple days ago. Because that was, if I can recall, I think the first explicit album I ever owned as a kid. And boy, oh boy, young Muse thought they were hot shit.
Oh,
listening to fucking... Especially listening to Hot Dog. Fucked up me and a fucked up you. If I say fuck 2 more times. I was like, oh my god, there's so much cursing in this. Ooh, wow.
This is what being an adult is like.
Being an adult is hearing Fred Durst say fuck 46 times in a song.
Mom can't tell me what not to say.
And I'm just like, listening back to it and like, it was still oddly hitting of like, you know what? I don't know if this is like nostalgia or what, but it's not bad, let yourself
enjoy it, you know? Like, I was having that moment where I remember at first, it was like, I remember listening to, I remember I knew like the big singles, right? You know, the songs everybody knew. But I was listening to like some of these songs like, wow, oh man, chord is really weird. When you listen to some of these like tracks that weren't singles, like, oh, this is really weird.
Yeah.
But then you listen to other songs, they're just like, wait, but that was like speaking to like, you know, the human condition of like American children at the time who were dealing with like, you know, parents who had just gotten out of this, you know, world that just said, hey, maybe you shouldn't hit your kids. Like, you know, and it's like, and that music was a response to that in a way that matters. Like when you think about it, it's just like, holy shit, like I have a respect for this song. Now, you still made that song over there that was really fucking stupid, but you know. But it's like, huh, you know, in that way that I felt like at the time, you know, people were just like, new metal equals bad, nothing but bad news here, you know, in the same way of like Insane Clown Posse, right, where it's like, it's so easy to be like, look at this clearly weird looking thing, isn't that weird? They're just bad, and we all agree it's bad, you know, but like, where the respected critics are just saying like, well, yeah, didn't you hear that bad lyric? This is awful and irredeemable, but like the people who, you know, are fans and maybe a little bit more accommodating of the bad stuff, they're able to dig through and get the treasures, right? Like, it'd be like, oh.
Yeah. If you know where to look.
Right. and that's the way it is with you and your hot dog flavored water, you know? Like, yeah, you probably wouldn't say like, oh yeah, I ride or die Fred Durst all day, but it's like, there's some joints in there, you'd probably be like, but damn, that melody, damn, I can't get that one out of my head. Like,
And I mean, and recently, fucking Fred Durst at a concert being like, hey, if you're vaccinated, put your hands up. Like, all right, okay, you know?
With his new haircut that he's got, you seen that?
And big old beard.
Looking like a 1950s DJ with the haircut.
There are two roads.
Drop down Johnny coming at you.
There are two very different roads you could go down. In 2021, you could either be a Fred Durst or a Kid Rock.
Oh, man.
And
oh, man.
At the time, maybe we would have seen them going down that same road. But after a while, they fucking took that Wiz Khalifa. It's been a long gotta go down my own way. And he took that turn.
But, I just specifically wanted to bring up just to call attention to my genius references here.
Oh yeah,
just the fact that the POD, right? They had that song that "Here Comes the Boom, Ready or Not,"
Right.
and I watched the music video and I was thinking like, oh, here comes the boom. Wait, around 2000. Wait, what's this song about? It's some sort of epic shit. What's the music video going to be about? And it's just about them having like a ping pong tournament, and like the song is so epic sounding, but it's just them going like, yeah. But the thing is, I love ping pong, so I'm watching this video like with fucking bated breath, like, oh yeah, fucking do it, dude. Oh shit, he's putting some spin on the ball. Oh shit, like at first I was gonna laugh at, it'd be like, oh, look at this silly new metal video, and when you watch the video, like there's nobody basically in the stands, so it's kind of like the joke of like they're doing this real thing that's really intense and it matters to them, but like basically no one's there, and they're playing this team that must be a big deal because like you see on their backs like this, it says like Sweden, so there's supposed to be some fun like international ping pong tournament, but no one's here. But that doesn't matter because they care about the game,
It's funny. You reminded me of one other thing, but before we go for real, that I've been going back and I've been watching old episodes of Raw from the late 90s, getting into that fucking old wrestling nostalgia, which may be where the Linkin Park shit is coming back from.
all those soundtracks, it's in your head, you can't get it out.
It could be. But there was this gimmick where someone had set up these hidden cameras that were like spying on the wrestlers, and it would make them look bad and be humiliating. But one segment that stood out was the camera was going, and it was this green room, and all of a sudden in walks Ben Stiller, Janine Garofalo, Kel Mitchell, and Paul Rubens. And they sit down, and Ben Stiller goes, "Man, did you see Stone Cold Steve Austin and Vince McMahon with that chair?" And Paul Rubens is like, "Yes, I saw it. It was great." And they're just talking, and Janine Garofalo is doing like this robot dance, and Paul Rubens goes, "Hey Janine, what are you doing? A routine from the movie Mystery Men that we're all in?"
Oh, right! I didn't even register! Why all these motherfuckers would be together?
And fucking Ben Stiller just goes, like, man, like, we all know Mystery Men opens, and he's like, in normal conversation.
Oh, yeah.
Just drops the release date and everything.
May 27th.
And I was just like, it was so like, oh my god, just beat you over the fucking head. But then after that, on commentary, they were still like, "Hey JR, have you seen Mystery Men yet? It's the funniest movie of the summer." Like, oh my god. But that reminded me, we were talking about music videos and just like aging weirdly. And All Star by Smash Mouth.
Right. Was it
a few years ago was kind of a meme.
Yeah.
Like, it was everywhere, mostly because of its association with Shrek.
Yeah, but people doing the videos where they're like, "Oh, All-Star plays every time Shrek says this in the movie," or something like that. Like,
yeah. And what I think is very funny to picture is some youngin' in 2021 looking up the music video for All-Star and just being baffled why they're showing so much of the Mystery Men in the music video.
What?
Like, what does this have to do with anything?
I don't remember these superheroes at all. What movie was this? Was this DC?
And like, that's the video. They didn't make like this is the video and this is the Mystery Men version. I think there's just the one.
Yeah,
and it's just
they
full of clips
at some point, don't they?
Oh god, yeah, they do. Oh my, yeah. There's no cutting around that. Unfortunately, that's just there forever.
Yeah.
And as I was looking in the credits of Mystery Men, by the way, were you aware that your boys, the recently reviewed Goody Mob, appear in the movie as not so Goody Mob?
Yeah. That was the level of writing for that film, folks.
That really does just pull the curtain back and give you a good old look-see.
Because I remember, they're part of the villains, and, whoever, Dr. Disco Frankenstein, whoever the fuck it is,
Sounds about right.
Yeah, he's like calling all these, people together and like, oh, the Not So Goody Mob, and it's all them. And I just remember having that feeling of like, oh, hey, it's CeeLo. Who are those other guys? When I was a kid. But yeah. Oh, I'm not sure where we were going with this ultimately, but
me either.
But I wanted to bring it back to the reason I had brought up that the outro, the genius outro that I had created, concocted, because I remember I was specifically having that moment where I was trying to figure out which. Like, when I heard here comes the boom, I was thinking like, wait, who does that song again? And of course, that's when I had the moment of, P.O.D. again? But then my brain kept going, and I was like, but no, there's another boom new metal song, isn't there? There has to be another one. And then I was like,
it's the System of a Down boom.
Well, it's that one, and Saliva. I think they're a one-hit wonder. They did click, click, boom.
Click, boom.
On the radio, coming through the stereo. Click, click, boom.
Yeah.
There was just a lot of fucking boom songs for a new metal.
It really was.
But I just think it's so funny in that particular instance because, like, I remember not knowing what that song was for the longest time. Because I remember they play it, like, every now and then, like, you see, like, a hip-hop song and, like, a new metal song in, like, a hip-hop movie or something like that, right? Like, How High would have, like, a rock song playing that, like, has, like, a rap sound to it, but it's, like, the hardcore, it sounds like fucking, Rap Superstar by Cypress Hill, like, the rock remix, like, that sort of shit. And, and I remember hearing that song, but not knowing what the lyric was. So for the longest time, I remember not being able to look it up, because I didn't know what they were saying. I thought it was, like, plink, plank, plunk. So I was like trying to look it up. I was like, plink, plank, plunk? Does anyone know a song called Plink, Plank, Plunk?
And if you'd only sang it the way, you'd be like, oh, that's fucking click, click, boom.
Right.
But yeah, if you just would have came up to me and said, who does that song Plink, Plank, Plunk? I'd never, not in a million years, would I go, oh, P.O.D.
Oh, of course.
For sure.
No, it wasn't even P.O.D. It's Saliva. It was the...
Oh, it was the Saliva one. Damn it. Right. Yeah. I can't even now.
Plink, plank, plunk.
That sucks.